Good morning, y'all. I've got something in here. It's heavy. Watch my muscles as I pick it up. You see that how heavy it is? You see my arm swelling up trying to pick it up. This probably weighs 20 pounds or more. I have a smoked ham in here, and I want to tell y'all how they did it in the olden days, because this ham was done in a smoke house. Let me show you what it is. I've had it since Christmas. They don't get old. They last indefinitely. It's been in my refrigerator, and I've been cutting off little pieces of it and using it since Christmas. Today we're going to do lima butter beans, these big kind, because that's what I like. And we're going to do some cornbread. But I want to show you about this ham. All right, some of y'all are you're going to know what a smokehouse is, and they put it in this to deliver it. My son brought this to me last Christmas, and I've been using it to make red-eyed gravy and season things with it, plus I just eat it. And it's a country ham. That's what they're called. It's called country ham. All right, now here's how it works. Let me move this, because I'm going to save all this to wrap it back up. This is a little mesh thing it comes in. All right. When you have it in your refrigerator, when you first get it, it's kind of hard, like jerky. And so sometimes when you leave it in the refrigerator a long time, let's say December, I got it in December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. I've had it in there 7 months. And I can still eat off of it. Now, the thing costs like $77 or something like that. But heck, that's nothing when you think about it. That's nothing compared to how much juice you're going to get off of it. Here's the ham. It's a leg of a pig. That white that you see right there is like a mold. And you just cut it off when you get to that part. Now, a long time ago, what they did is they left these hanging like that in the smokehouse. It had a rope through it, and they just hung them up in the smokehouse. And when you got breakfast time, you just go out there with a sharp knife and whack you off a piece of it to eat for breakfast, or to put in your turnip greens or whatever you have to be cooking that day. Now, the reason I hadn't cut mine off to go in my butter beans yet, because I want y'all to see how hard it is to cut. This is hard. This is like when the settlers were coming out to Texas and Colorado and California, and they were leaving the East Coast, and they were on wagon trains going out into the western states. On the wagon train, they had one of these, or more than one, and they just cut off the meat that they needed every day. And they had their flour and their cornmeal and coffee. They always had coffee. And they kept them on the wagon train, and you had a cook. And he would do all this. So I just want you to see how hard it is for me to cut the piece off that I'm going to put in my butter beans today. I want some fat, and I want some meat. So I think I'll cut right here. I'm going to cut a little piece off right here. You just about need a saw like you were going to do a saw of a tree down. And I'm sure on the wagon train, they kept them a whittling stone to sharpen their knives too. Let me see if I got another knife that'll work a little better. Nope, I didn't find one. I'm gonna cut off of this side and see how this will work. The skin, see, that's the skin of the pig right there. What I like to do is cut off a bunch of pieces and put it in a skillet, cook it real slow, and then you just put a little piece in your mouth like jerky, and you don't even chew it. You just let it stay there. All right, y'all, bear with me. We're about ready. Woo! I did it. I've already had my workout for today. And some of y'all say, how do you stay so little? Well, heck, you do this a time or two and see what happens. You'll be little too. All right, here's our meat. It's 7 months old. It's still good. There's your skin. All this will be soft later when I cook it in these butter beans. And sometimes the mold that grows on it will be kind of a green color. You just cut it off. Just cut it off. And I'm going to drop this in my beans in just a minute. I'm going to rinse it off and then drop it in. But here's the mold that's on the side of this one right there. And it's fine. You just cut that off. You don't eat that part, but that's just on the skin. And so, and this is what you make red-eyed gravy with. You fry this, and there'll be some drippings in the bottom of your skillet, and you add a little water, coffee. Some people add coffee, and you're going to do that. So I'm going to rinse this off. I'm going to put it in these butter beans, and I'm going to put not much salt in here, and then we're going to have butter beans for lunch, and I'll cook y'all some cornbread too. That doesn't look like much, but it's going to swell up. All right, we'll be back when it's cornbread time. I also want to tell you that it's got this much water in this pot. That looks like it's pretty far up, but here's the reason I did that. Butter beans soak up water, and so that's why I put so much in it. Now I'm fixing to wrap my ham back up and put it back in the refrigerator for another time. I've got the paper around it. I'm fixing to put the sock over it. George and I used to always stop at a place and get Mom and Daddy a ham, a country ham for Christmas. We'd always give them one. You can wrap that up a little bit. All right, here it is. I'm fixing to put it back in the fridge. And you just carry it around in the house like a baby. Okay, y'all, the butter beans are ready. We've already eaten lunch. Bae came back over here. We had steamed cabbage, big white fat butter beans. Limas is what some people call them, the dried beans. And we had a sliced tomato and cabbage, butter beans. Oh, and we had I took some hamburger meat that Hannah had. They butchered a half a cow. So I took that hamburger meat and I mixed 2 eggs, 1 onion, and some dried onion soup mix in the hamburger meat, mixed it up real good, and then I fried it in little patties. And we had that. But here's the ham that came out of the butter beans. And the reason I'm showing you now is because I want you to see how tender it is now. Just easy, good ham that's 7 months old. So the only reason I did this, let me get some water. The only reason I did it was so that you would know what smoked ham is and what country ham is. Another thing that the old timers used to do to preserve their meats, see, they didn't have refrigeration and all this. They had wood stoves and they had to kill hogs and to get meat, is they salted it down. Here's how they did that. They get a big barrel thing. They'd put a layer of salt, then a layer of meat, then a layer of salt, then a layer of meat. And they would come on up, salt, meat, salt, meat, salt, meat, till they got to the top. And that salt kept that meat fresh and good. And you can buy salt pork in the grocery store, and it's under 2 different names. Well, it could say salt pork, it could say fatback, which is real salty, fatback. All it is just fat with the skin on it. And that stuff's good. It's good. You can make great tomato gravy out of that. And let's see, streak-a-lean. Streak-a-lean would be like it looks kind of like a bacon, but it's been cured with salt. Natural curing. So you've got salt and for some meats, and then when you kill your hogs and you've got big legs, you hang that up in the smokehouse, fresh meat, build your fire in there, and it smokes for a long time. I'm not sure how long. Maybe some of y'all can help us with that. But on the house where I was raised, till I was 4, there was a smokehouse and an outhouse because there was no electricity. And when we got it, it was a single cord. The ceilings were high, like 12-foot ceilings, 14. And there was a cord coming down like this into the room, about hand high. And it had one light bulb on the end of it with a little pull chain. And when you pull that little chain, which is about that long, the light would come on. And that was the only light you had in that big old room, was one light bulb in the center of the room. Times have really changed, haven't they? I told y'all about the little boy in my classroom one time, a little 7th grader, that when I was talking about a wood stove, and about my mother cooked on a wood stove, and he raised his little hand and he said, Miss Gantt, he said, how come that wood stove didn't burn up? He thought that this stove was made out of wood. He didn't realize that it was an iron stove that you put wood in. Precious children. They don't know things, and we fail to tell them. And I wouldn't have told them if he hadn't asked the question. I'm just assuming everybody knew what a wood stove was. Y'all have a great day. And don't worry when you eat meat that's 7 months old. Hey, it hadn't got any preservatives in it or nothing. It's just good old meat. Love y'all. Bye-bye.